as we get into an interesting conversation here. And what's cool is I got this topic, or I took some questions from a few, fans the other day on yesterday, and a question that was brought to my attention was Coach Saban officially being in the prime of his career. And I thought about that would be a really interesting interesting topic in general. So when we look at Coach Saban, is Nick Saban officially in the prime of his coaching career? Now, honestly, you look at his age, you see he's 69 years old, so quite naturally you would say no, he would be on the backslide of his career at 69 years of age. But after winning the national championship, after getting his 7th title, putting him over the legendary Paul Bear Bryant, and in doing it the way he did it, which was enduring COVID and being able to navigate the team through a 10-game conference-only schedule, playing all SEC opponents, being able to endure having coaches miss games because of COVID, having players miss games because of COVID. He himself missed a game because of the virus. Despite all of the roadblocks that he had to endure, Saban still ends with a national championship. And not only that, he parlays that success into signing his best recruiting class ever on paper within his 14 years at the program. Now, of course, this recruiting class has to put in the work on the field, but on paper, best recruiting class he's ever brought in. And on top of that, the way he was able to quickly replace 5 coaches. Think about that. He lost Steve Sarkisian. He lost Kyle Flood. He lost Charles Huff. He lost Jeff Banks. He lost Carl Scott, and he's able to replace, all of those on-field coaches with the staff he's brought in now, with Bill O'Brien, with Doug Marrone, with Robert Gillespie, with Jay Graham, and with Jay Valet. So in all of these things, he was able to accomplish, all of these things here. To me, I think Saban is not only in the prime of his career, but I feel like he has opened that window of championships to at least get 5 more in here. I think he's opened that window to at least get 5 more national titles. 2 things Saban is trying to do at this point. One thing he's trying to do is to lengthen his coaching tree, is to widen his coaching tree to be as big, if not bigger, than guys like Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick, right? When you look at college football, all the major D1 programs, they either have a former Nick Saban assistant as its head coach or a former Nick Saban assistant as one of the top assistant coaches. So looking at college football, the bulk of it is Nick Saban assistants. So he's trying to stretch out that coaching tree as wide as he possibly can. And then along with that, upon his career being done, upon him looking at Miss Terry and saying, baby, we can call it a career. We can go home. I can eat all the Debbie cakes I want at the house. I can ride on my jet ski at the lake at the house. Before he looks at Miss Terry and calls it a career, he wants to widen out his reach of national championships to where there is a ginormous gap, and we can definitively say no one's going to catch Nick Saban. I mean, it's already a gap as it is. We discussed Saban's got 7 titles, and the next active coach close to him is Clemson's Dabo Swinney with 2. I mean, that's already a gap there as it is. And I remember Ryan Day, Ohio State's head coach, said, well, the gap between Alabama and Ohio State's closing in. Well, how could it be closing in when Alabama curb stomped you by 28 points? I mean, you got beat 52-28. I mean, you got a 5-piece chicken meal with no sauce and no drink. So you got curb stomped by 28 points by Alabama. So how is that margin being closed? I don't understand the logic that Ryan Day was trying to come off with there. And he has no national championship to his own name there. So the gap is not closed at all. But the gap is already big when you look at Nick Saban right now. But if he was able to get, 5 more titles, how much wider that gap is going to be there when you talk about him being in his prime. And what's funny is, if you can remember this, going back to there have been a few coaches here in college football that people challenged Nick Saban, he could not, beat these guys. And first and foremost, if you remember, when Urban Meyer was at Florida, people hailed Urban Meyer as the GOAT, right? Urban Meyer was the best thing since the Easy Bake Oven. He was the best thing since the air fryer. Urban Meyer was looked at as the GOAT. Like, he had won 2 championships, 2006, 2008, and people are like, the gold standard in college football is in Gainesville, Florida. Nick Saban goes, okay then. So in the words of Black Panther, he goes, okay, so that's your king? Okay, that's your king? Okay. So Nick Saban goes, and not only does he dethrone Urban Meyer, but he pushes him, he runs him out of the conference. And then you had folks go, well, Gus Malzahn's the guy that can dethrone Nick Saban. I mean, he's beaten Saban every other year in the Iron Bowl. He always tends to give Saban and Alabama fierce competition every other year. Then Saban goes, okay, this is your king. I don't even have to beat Gus Malzahn. I can sit here and deal with COVID symptoms, let Steve Sarkisian handle my lightweight, and Sarkisian pushes Gus Malzahn out of the conference. Gus Malzahn is now coaching Central Florida now. He's just been hired at UCF. Then you have the talking heads go, no, wait. Jim Harbaugh, that's the guy that can take out Coach Saban. Like, that's the guy. I mean, younger, fresher, had success in the NFL, took the 49ers to a Super Bowl. We know Nick Saban hasn't had any NFL success. So we bring in, Jim Harbaugh. He had success in college with Stanford and Andrew Luck, and he's going to go to Michigan, and with his satellite camps, he's going to be the one to knock Nick Saban off the perch. Well, how has that worked for you? Jim Harbaugh is 0-6 against Ohio State. He has yet to win a Big Ten championship. He has yet to even sniff the college football playoff. It's the experiment with Harbaugh at Michigan not working there for the Wolverine faithful. And then you got Dabo Swinney. Now, Swinney and Nick Saban have had some interesting battles. I mean, I know the first championship matchup between Bama and Clemson, Bama took that one. And then the second matchup with Deshaun Watson involved, Clemson took that one. They've had some interesting battles. But the last 2 years here, Clemson got to the national championship, lost to LSU, and then it didn't even make it to the title game this past season. It got put out by Ohio State in the semifinal round at the Sugar Bowl. So just kind of saying here that, even the names that people have tried to put up to say, these guys are going to knock Saban out of the ring, they have not been able to knock Coach Saban out of the ring. And so, the question becomes, how long can Saban continue to do this at a high level? Because right now, he's showing no signs of slowing down, right? He's showing no signs that he is no longer having fun. He's still having fun in college football. He is still dominating every challenge. I mean, to me, it would have to take him having a season worse than his first year in 2007 where he went 7-6. Because he's always said, if it ever comes to a moment where I'm not as effective anymore, I can't, get the players to play the right way anymore, if I'm not making an impact anymore, then at that moment I feel like my job is done. Let me go elsewhere. But right now, that's just simply not the case. I mean, right now he's winning at an unbelievably high clip. He's still getting championships. He's still consistently in the conversation with Alabama to win national titles. I mean, even when there's a season where he may lose a game or two, he still has that fire. So for me, it would have to be a situation where it would be close, if he would have a season that was close to his first year where he went 7-6, whether it's him going 7-6 again, or him going 8-5, or him having more than 3 losses. Him having more than 3 losses and him being way beneath the expectation of competing for a conference title and being in the running for the college football playoff. I feel like it would have to take a season like that to really ring the bell there of Coach Saban, have him thinking, okay, am I still cut out for this? Can I still do this? Can I still accomplish this the way I want to? Because right now it's the whole – he's in a conversation that Michael Jordan was in when you talk about the Last Dance documentary. People always spoke on, how long can Michael Jordan and the Bulls keep this up? How long can Phil Jackson continue to coach? How long can this team, remain dominant? It was a question every single year. It's a question right now with Tom Brady in the NFL. How long can Tom keep playing? How long can Tom still be elite? I mean, for goodness sake, he's 43 years old. He wants to play till he's 50. How long can Tom do this? So Nick Saban has put himself in the very same class of how long will Saban be able to coach at this type of a magnitude? Because, right now, not only do I feel like he's in his prime, but I feel like there are 4 to 5, possibly even more championships down the road for him due to he has surrounded himself with young Thundercat, hotshot-like coaches, but he's also got the veteran coaches around him also with Sal Sunseri and Charles Kelly and guys like Bill O'Brien who's got experience and guys like Doug Marrone that have experience, even coming from the NFL. So he's surrounded himself with youth as well as experience. He continues to hit the big names on the recruiting circuit, of the 2021 class being today the biggest and best class he has ever brought in here. So to me, until he has a season where it's close to what he experienced his first year in here, Coach Saban definitely in his prime, and I can see that window being 4 to 5 to 6 more championships continuing for the 69-year-old, the greatest of all time head coach, that being Nick Saban. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.